So we all know that Mark Meadows, Donald Trump's former chief of staff, is, of course, being investigated for potential voter fraud in the state of North Carolina, where he has since been kicked off the voting rolls. But a little more came out this past week. Turns out, not only was he most likely, in my opinion, based on the facts available, voting illegally in North Carolina, but it turns out he was also registered to vote in Virginia at the same time. Okay, you don't think that's bad enough? Well, how about I throw this little nugget in there with you? Not only was he registered to vote in North Carolina, where he did vote, he was registered to vote in Virginia, but what if I also added that he was registered to vote in South Carolina? 3 states. Mark Meadows, as Donald Trump's chief of staff, was registered to vote in 3 separate states. That's illegal, by the way. You register to vote at your place of legal residence. That's it. That's all you get. It doesn't matter if you have a summer home in Florida and a winter home up in New York. You only get to register in one of those places. In fact, a lot of people, Republicans, have been arrested in the state of Florida for doing that this past 2020 election. Mark Meadows hasn't been arrested yet. He's still being investigated. I think the investigation can probably go ahead and wrap up. I mean, reporters for the Washington Post found this out. You know, real, actual reporters doing what real, actual reporters are supposed to do. They've already uncovered this, investigators. So I'm sure you probably already had it as well. My question is, of course, this is already illegal. You could go ahead and arrest him. And then, of course, you can continue to build your case. Just because you arrest him on one thing doesn't mean you can't come back, 2 weeks later, arrest him on another thing. There is no doubt in my mind at this point that what Mark Meadows did was 100% illegal. And here's the kicker, folks. As far as I have seen in the reporting, we don't even know if he voted in these other states, which means he may have committed voter fraud not just in North Carolina, but also in South Carolina and Virginia. That kind of seems like he may be, if he voted in all these states where he was legally registered, that would kind of make him a serial voter fraud committer. Okay, I'll admit, not the best term I've ever come up with, but registered in 3 states, and it never set off alarm bells with anybody else. Why is this just now becoming public knowledge? Let's also remember, of course, that Mark Meadows was, in fact, the chief pusher of election conspiracies, actually encouraged people to spy on their neighbors to make sure they weren't committing voter fraud, according to reports. This is the guy that pushed the big lie. This is the guy that, was at the center of all of the plans to overturn the election results. All those text messages going to Mark Meadows. Tell us what to say. What's the narrative? Where's the evidence? Well, Mark Meadows never gave them any evidence because apparently the only evidence Mark Meadows had was, hey, I know a guy that's registered to vote in 3 states. Let's just, we'll probably not go after him, right? Because, oops. And that's what's happening. Mark Meadows should be arrested. And if there's any justice in this country, Mark Meadows will, in fact, be arrested. But I'll tell you what could happen here, right? Even though he's being investigated in North Carolina, I think it's time for the Justice Department to step in. I think the DOJ needs to say, hey, North Carolina investigators, we at the DOJ actually have a voter fraud department. We can take it from here because this does cross state lines, so the DOJ could, in fact, take it over. And the DOJ needs to say, all right, Mark, listen up, bud. We got you in 3 separate states, 3 separate voter rolls. We can pop you pretty hard. We can charge you in each state. We can get you 15 years in jail. 15 years maximum. Or you can go ahead and cooperate with us in our ongoing investigation into your attempts to overthrow the election. Start turning in some names, turning in some documents, turning in some tapes, whatever you may have. Choice is yours, Mark. That is what the DOJ needs to be doing. If Mark Meadows is going to go down for something, the DOJ can step in, try to make a deal, and take other bigger people down for bigger things. That's what I want to see happen. Hey everyone, this is Aspen. And did you know that for the low, low cost of $0 per day, you can subscribe to the Fair and Balanced YouTube channel. We also encourage you to like, comment, and share, but again, click that subscribe button and help Aspen not be so grumpy.